marketing your agritourism operation. Today's topics include branding, social media, optimizing your marketing outlets, marketing today, and planning for the future. I'm the presenter, Lindsay Pageau. I work for Cornell Cooperative Extension's Harvest New York team as an agricultural business and development marketing specialist. I also own Adirondack View Lavender, which is located in Keysville, New York. We are a 13-acre diversified farm in which we mainly grow lavender, sunflowers. We have a farm shop. We hold a variety of workshops on the property, such as lavender wreath making, lavender wand making. We also hold weddings, bridal showers, birthday parties, retirement parties. And we try to add in different events every single year. So when it comes down to marketing, I always like to talk about the 5 P's of marketing. This includes price, product, promotion, place, and people. So at last month's workshop, Steve Hadcock's workshop was consistent of pricing. And so I'm just kind of highlighting is when we're looking at pricing, we're looking at ways of how do you determine your price? Does it cover your costs plus pay yourself? And that's really important, is making sure it pays yourself. And is the price reasonable for your market? So that's when it comes down to looking at what your customers are willing to pay. Is there actually a market for your product when it comes down to it? So for products, what are you selling? So if you're an agritourism operation and you pick strawberries, that would be your product that you're going to be selling. How are you selling this product? Is it going to be a U-pick? Is it going to be a product that you sell in your farm stand out of container? And then what is the quality of your product? How much product do you have available to sell? And that's really important. Sometimes very difficult to determine if you're going to have enough product to be able to fulfill your season of, like, example would be like your blueberry season that is a limited amount in July, but your first year, you might not have a lot of plants in the ground. So are you going to have enough available for your consumers? Is the product appropriate for the market? And then is there room for the product in the market? So if you're going to be starting an agritourism operation and there's 5 strawberry operations down the road and they all do U-pick, you might not want to be starting a strawberry operation. You want to find something that's a little bit different to be starting. So, looking at what is out there that other people are providing for agritourism experiences. So promotion, we're going to go in a little bit more detail in a couple of slides about different ways of promoting, but when we talk about promotion, you're looking at how are you planning to advertise your product. So it's just like examples like websites, social media, newspaper, word of mouth. And so I'll mention a bunch of other different ways to promote your product in the next couple of slides. So place, where are you planning to sell your product? And I just like to mention this, retail and wholesale, because it just might not be your agritourism operation, but if you're retail and you're going to be selling like U-pick or different event experiences, or you're going to be hosting different events on your property, ideally for agritourism, it's going to be your place, it's going to be your farm versus wholesaling out to like a retail store or another farm. So people. So what is your target market? Who will buy my product? Why will they buy my product? What will they pay for my product? And where do you expect to find this product? And then the demographics. So examples, is it families that you're selling to? So specifically a woman, a man, children. What's the age range? Is it 20 to 90 years? is it being like I said, like maybe kids events? So it's important to look at how you're providing that information to the public, about and where to market that. So an example I have up here is from one of the pages I use for social media. This one's from Facebook. Is Facebook analytics provide information on, if it's a man, if it's a woman, what the age range, what locations they're providing. So like an example is if you have an agritourism operation and you start seeing locations include different parts of the United States, other countries, maybe that's not really the target market that's going to be drawing in customers. However, it could be a situation that people from other areas actually traveling to your operation to experience your agritourism experience. So for branding, it's important to look at these different three aspects. So I kind of already mentioned the determining your target market in the last slide. And then your second thing for branding is developing your brand identity. So that's the creation of a logo, your visual design, that includes your color of your logo, your web page, the fonts that are being used for your logo and your web page, and then your taglines. That a tagline just makes you different. So it might be like hashtag most unique agritourism experience or unique farm experience in the Catskills. So people ask me all the time is, how do I create a logo? So there's pros and cons of different ways of going about creating a logo. You can use, somebody local in which you can have that interaction experience of talking to somebody in person or even just over the phone, and providing that information about what you're looking for the creation of your logo. There's also online websites where they'll develop a logo for you, and some are free and some are paid for. The experience that I've had with using an online one is, you provide them certain photos or symbols that you want for the creation of your logo. You pick out your colors, your fonts, and they'll create something for you, and you can go back and forth via email on that. It's not as personable experience, but it is an option for people. And no creation of a logo can cost anywhere from $100, to a couple $1,000s for some people. So when you're looking to create a logo, your visual design for your website, I think it's important to remember, we experience brands every single day. And I like to use examples of Diet Pepsi, Diet Coke, Coca, any of the Coca-Cola products when it comes down to it. Their things have changed over the years of how their colors, their logos, how they market their products on TV and print, now on social media. So it's important to see that things are going to change over time. And that change is something that you should even think about for your business. Is what's relevant today for your branding is not going to be relevant, possibly in 10, 20, 30 years. So it's important to know that you're going to have to possibly make some changes. So that's going to be additional expenses to your operation. And then communicating to your target audience with your branding. So that's through website, social media, print advertisements, etc. So social media. So when I look at social media, the two major platforms I think have been most relevant to businesses are Facebook and Instagram. Some people sometimes use TikTok to do some type of, and YouTube would do some type of videos and advertising that way. But I think the most target markets end up using more Facebook and Instagram nowadays. So, when you're creating your social media posts, ideally you want to have nice photos, and what you can add to that. in your social media posts and adding wording, dates, times. So like this is an example in this photo of sunflowers. And you could do, you pick sunflowers open 7 days a week from 8 till 5 p.m. And then in the post area that you can add extra verbiage, you could add that information that you have it like in your photo. So re-add that sunflowers, you pick 8 to 5 p.m., add the address, the pricing, any additional information that would be helpful to people visiting the farm. Like even if you had a pet policy that you want to make sure you people are aware of, are pets allowed or are they not allowed? People ask me all the time is how often to post. And I think the general rule is, kind of daily during your busy agritourism times. You ideally don't want to post more than once per hour. And just think of it as the perspective of somebody who's going to be seeing this in their social media feeds. Would you want to be seeing a post on a farm every single hour? Would you want to see it just once a day, maybe twice a day? So, just kind of think of what you would want to be on the other receiving end on your social media posts. So I already kind of mentioned the content. When it comes down to hashtags, I think hashtags are relevant when it comes down to Instagram, because by doing a hashtag, Adirondack Mountains or an organization like hashtag I love New York, it gives them the notification that they're being tagged and that they might be considered resharing that information out to the public. So when to post. So this is always a good aspect to think about when to put that information out on social media. Ideally, most people, look at social media when they wake up, when they go to bed. So, picking hours that's relevant to those aspects of the day is important. And then sharing. So it's always great if people tag your farm on their social media posts, and then being able to share out that information. I think it also gives reference to that consumer that you notice that they're sharing wonderful information out to the public. And you're also getting more photos and more things to add to your social media feeds. And then add to a story. So you can add, usually on Facebook and also Instagram, you can add to, there's a post and then there's an add to a story aspect. So you can add to the story, sometimes even like create music and little videos along with it. And also, one of the things that I've done on like Facebook and Instagram is add to story is other people's posts that they share out. So it's just another thing that's being available. And I'm recognizing like the wonderful things that people are sharing as customers to other individuals in the community. And, some people wonder, how do you create content to social media? So one of the things that I have found has been the most helpful is looking at different agritourism operations across the country that are like mine. So I look at different lavender farms so I can see what they're hosting for events, what products they're making. I think it's just a way to, build different things that you might be able to build into your farm. Also see different pricing that people are using for their farms. And it also, when you're looking at social media posts and you're trying to develop content to your social media, is looking at just operations that you like. And it might not be, like for me, it might not be a lavender farm. It might be a winery, it might be a CSA, it might be just something different. And I just like, see how they do their videos and how the content's provided out there. And then it gives, myself ideas of what I could potentially create, with videos and adding some music, different fonts that seem like really grab my eye. So it's really important to, look at other operations and what they're doing. So optimizing your marketing outlet. So it's important to try to market as many places as possible. And especially when you're starting out on different, free places, and then develop like a marketing budget of how much you're going to be able to spend, and also optimizing your markets in the long run. So I look at like social media, website, those are great ways, in newspaper in your first year of ways to market, if for almost free. If you create your social media pages on Facebook and Instagram, you can create a website for almost for free. Usually there's a domain and a hosting fee that's associated. And then maybe down the road, like for my example is I used a free website the first couple of years, paid the domain, paid the hosting fee. And then now I'm at an aspect that I want to be able to create more content on a website, and I want a different look for branding purposes to my website. So now I have that fee every year, as that's part of my marketing budget. Newspapers is a great place to get, a free article, on your operation. Paid advertisement. So usually, like an example, like if you get an article in a newspaper, you're on their radar, and they're going to want potentially, if to advertise with them in the future. That's also includes like in magazines too. Word of mouth. There's a free way to advertise for your operation. Tourism offices usually have a website and can provide another marketing outlet of them being able to share your operation to people coming into the area. And plus, usually they're able to, provide different places on, like we have like rack cards that have information about your operation. They would be somebody that would be able to either put them in those locations or provide the information where those rack card locations are. Also, local farm promotions. So some different counties have different programs on promoting the farms. So in Essex County, where I'm located, we have Adirondack Harvest, which is part of Cornell Cooperative Extension. And they actually help provide marketing through website and social media. So like every time I, on Instagram do like a hashtag Adirondack Harvest, they're aware of different events happening in the area, and then they're willing to share that information out. Events calendars. So I think of like the locations of where events calendars are in my area. And usually those are a free way to market your product. Events calendar could be usually located in like a newspaper. Usually TV, the news station have events calendars. They provide either daily or weekly. And tourism offices. So here's an example for my farm, Adirondack View Lavender, what we do for marketing. So Facebook and Instagram, those are like our free outlets for marketing our farm. And that's, between Facebook, Instagram, and our website, I make sure that's up to date regularly of what's happening on the farm. Like I mentioned before, I started out with a free website, and then I moved to a paid website just so it gave me more options on how I was able to market the farm, because I was able to get more tabs to create more pages, do an online store, have more accessibility for registration for different workshops. And then I think next year we're going to move into like a scheduling platform for when photographers come onto the website. So just looking at like how that website's going to benefit you, and making sure to put that, if you have a website, that is part of your marketing budget. Or as I mentioned before, Adirondack Harvest is our local marketing platform for farmers. So we're part of that. The first, I think, a couple of years, we were in different local newspapers. And we do a lot has been through word of mouth. And I like word of mouth. I feel like almost the best, because I also think word of mouth too is like Facebook and Instagram. And just hearing, having been an operation for a number of years, I just heard about you. And I always look at that as a positive, because that means people are still spreading the word about the operation, that I'm doing something good. That people are spreading that there's, a place to come visit to go pick lavender, basically. So flyers. So I think if you're going to have events, flyers, event cards, those are really important, is to get that information out, because people still want something that they can bring with them to put on like the refrigerator, or that's happening in the area. So how we've done it is I have like almost like a network to spread the word of the events. So examples is like our friends and family. We'll take a stack of the flyers, the rack cards, and spread them all throughout like my area. And it's been really important to find a couple really important ones to highlight. Like example for us has been, like libraries, like community centers, the hospital. So finding different outlets of where you can put those flyers up. And it's, having a stack of flyers in your car and you're going around and you realize you've got a place to put something, you just run into your car and then run back into the store and put it on their events board. So the last two is I'm going to mention are magazines. So there's a process a lot of the times for getting into newspapers, getting into magazines for photography purposes. So, or just even getting into them. So for photos, for newspapers, for magazines, they want a certain high quality photo that, as a farmer, usually we don't have those cameras that are available to us. We might think that we can just do it on our cell phone. They're beautiful, but they need to come out and take the photos themselves. Plus, they also want the rights to those photos. When we're looking into getting into Adirondack Life Magazine and Northern Exploring, they were looking to make sure that we were established operation. We had been in operation for a number of years, because they don't want somebody that just started up that might not be around next year. And they came out a year before the article was even run. So this year we got Adirondack Life Magazine, which was 121,000 subscribers, and then Northern Exploring, which is our free local magazine that's spread all throughout New York and like upstate New York and upstate Vermont. And so they came out last summer and took photos throughout the season. And then this winter, that's when they came about and wrote the article up, made sure it was approved by us, and then we were in both of their magazines this year. So it's a process to get into one of those professional magazines. It's well worth it, but it's important to build up to that. So for your website, I always like to just highlight that it's really important to update it regularly, provide your business hours, your address, your contact information, photos, your farm story, and then online story. And then like we also put our upcoming farm events, our photography and pet policy. I think that's really important because yes, your consumers may not ever read that photography and pet policy, but at least you can tell somebody if they try to question your policy, say it's been on our website, it's been there for years, it's updated regularly, please check it out in the future. And then I always like to mention like a contact when it comes down to contact, there's also the option to like subscribe to pages. So looking at just easy ways for people to get notified of your different events. So marketing today and planning for the future. So today, you want to make sure that you have an up-to-date marketing plan and looking at customer feedback, asking your customers, where did you hear about us? Is it direct feedback? So like a website form, face-to-face communication, website analytics, social media analytics. And, one of the things that I have found by asking customers, the feedback, especially when you're looking in your parking lot and you're seeing cars from out of state. In my location, we also get cars from Canada, from Ontario, and then we also get cars from Quebec. So I always wondered, how did you hear about us? And a lot of the times it's a funny story of, I saw you on social media, I saw this, the article that you had in Adirondack Life magazine, and we're located down in New York City, and we were coming to the area, so we wanted to visit your farm. And so people sometimes plan their trips around your agritourism operation. So that's, I think, really important to highlight and understand. Like, it's going to be amazing what you're going to hear about customer feedback. Another story that I had was this year was they were looking to go to an operation that was definitely further away than we were located, and they were on the way by and ended up coming across our lavender farm. And it's just nice to hear that there people are picking it up through social media, also from Google, from a Google search. Some future planning for marketing is, you always want to revise your marketing plan and have a marketing budget. So sometimes this is hard to determine when it comes down to a marketing budget, what, when you're starting out, what you're going to spend. And what I would say is start small. Just like I say, when you're starting your business, start small and slowly grow it over time. So maybe your first year, it's $0 that you're going to spend on your marketing budget. And you're just going to use your website, social media, word of mouth. And then maybe your second year, you're going to advertise in some of those newspapers that provided an article out to you. And then maybe down the road, are providing a marketing budget to a magazine or two that has provided an article on you. One other thing that I want to mention is, when you're thinking about marketing your operation, is it is important to have a Google business page too. So Google provides the option that you can have your website, your phone number, and photos added to a Google business page. And it's just a very easy way for people to find your operation. And it's important on that page is to update your operation hours. So if you're in an operation that's going to be, closed for the winter time, you still have the option to go onto that Google business page, update your hours that you're going to be closed for the winter time, and then restart that when you're back in operation. Plus, people are able to lead feedback of your operation. And that's a nice little free service that Google does provide. So because I mentioned marketing plan in the last slide, I think it's important just to quickly highlight some of those aspects of having a marketing plan. So why create a marketing plan? It's a strategic document. It provides your focus of your resources. It allows for planning of business growth. It highlights your target markets. It aligns your marketing efforts with your sales goals. It can be used for an investor or a bank, and it's part of your business plan. So we usually have your business plan, and your marketing plan is part of this. And some of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about in your marketing plan is also part of your business plan. So when you're developing your business plan, just, you don't have to put things twice, you can put things once. So the different highlights of a marketing plan would be your executive summary, your marketing summary, SWOT analysis, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, your competition, your target market customers, product and services, market strategy, budget and financials, pricing and positioning strategy, your market channels of where you're marketing your product to, your distribution, and your promotional strategy. So your executive summary, which is also part of your business plan, you provide a description of your business, a summary of your marketing plan sections, and your goal for your marketing plan. Your market summary provides your demographics, your needs, your trends, your growth. Your SWOT analysis, which is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So, strengths might be that you have prior business experiences. Weakness might be you don't have a lot of experience farming. Opportunities might be this is a very unique operation. Nobody has that similar operation within 200 miles. Threats might be come out of the opportunities to have a unique experience, but once people see me developing this operation, they might want to start a very similar operation. Competition. So describe your competition if you have any in the area. Maybe you don't. Product and services. So what are your product and services? So is it a UPIC operation? Is it an events venue? Is it a farm stand? And why are they unique? Your target market and customers. Describe industry you're selling to. Analyze of competition, and then your ideal customers. But if you've been in operation, you know what your customer is, and just that would be information you would just put in this area. Your market strategy. So describe how your company should approach the market. So when you're coming at a marketing of your operation is like I kind of mentioned before, is your short-term, midterm, and long-term goals. So short-term might be, I've had zero marketing budget for this year. I'm going to market, Facebook, website, word of mouth. Midterm might be 2 years down the road, 3 years down the road. I'm going to have a marketing budget of like $500, and I'm going to advertise out to some of the local newspapers. Maybe long-term is that you want to get into a large magazine. And this, this could be, in 5 years, it could be in 10 years. I want to get on a local, TV show or a newscast about your operation. So, your marketing strategy of your short-term, midterm, and long-term goals is going to be very different from every single agritourism operation. So your target for budget and financials. So you're going to provide your marketing expenses. So some ways to gather this information might be using a marketing agency, marketing software. And then for pricing and positioning strategies. must be relevant to the market. So you don't want to have product that is too low. And you don't want to have products that is priced too high. So you want to figure out what's going to work best for your market when it comes down to it. So that's the finding the correct pricing point. And then you can have a strategy for if you need to increase prices slowly over time. And as we all know, since 2019 to where we are now is prices for everything for the cost of living has gone up. So people, expect prices are going to go up over time, that you're not going to be, $5 for a pint of strawberries. You know that they're going to go up over time. So your marketing channels, when you're looking at marketing, you're going to possibly have to educate people of your product. You can do this through like social media, newspaper, radio. Some people are able to get on radio stations and be able to do like a little educational aspect of their farm. So that's a great way to be able to market your product. So for the distribution plan, this does have like using a distributor, so that doesn't relate to agritourism, but it's important if you're going to have a marketing plan for your agritourism operation is it's going to be in your business plan. So you might be also including, if you're distributing your product, website might be the aspect of you're using online sales. Retail would be your agritourism sales on the farm. And then if you're using the website or distributor, it's the aspect of transportation, either by mail, air, or truck. Promotions strategies. So think about where you're going to be marketing your marketing material, your online promotions, and the different offers you're going to be offering. And so that's what I have for this workshop. So we do have a number of future workshop series coming up, and I'll be providing this this information in the email that I send out for the registration link and the list of the future workshop series. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. Thank you very much.